Do you have any problem, I do, with members of Congress voting on a bill this important and not actually reading it page by page? I know it's long. I mean,
do I have a problem with it?
I'm just that's where I don't know how you vote yes or no without knowing what you're voting on.
If you're a Democrat, you vote yes or no because Pelosi and Rahm Emanuel and Steny Hoyer are threatening you. Henry Waxman, in the Energy and Commerce Committee, where a large part of this bill was put together, was being asked some questions by Republicans on the panel. He said, "You can't expect me to know everything in this." Yes, we can expect you to know everything in it. You're the ones putting it together. Well, there are people reading it, Greta, and we're finding out what's in it, and people are being told. You know, we've reached a point here where Washington has become this massive magnet, the center of attention in government, and just the presence of people there makes them better, makes them smarter. The details don't count. They're smart. We're idiots. We aren't capable of taking care of ourselves. We aren't capable of making the proper decisions to do the right thing in life. We need as much of that controlled by them. So the details, Obama last night didn't know the details. He didn't care about the details because it's not about health care. It's about an ideological attempt to control freedom, limit it as much as possible. I know that sounds hard to believe. Why? People don't want to accept that the United States would ever elect, the people of this country would ever elect somebody who has that agenda. Well, we have.
Is there anything President Obama has done so far that you think that's good, that's smart?
No, I'm embarrassed by him. He's whining. Last night, continued to blame Bush. We inherited this, and we inherited that. And I'll tell you how bad it's got. New York Times today does a little fact-check article that blows him out of the water. The New York Times, I mean, Politico, a piece on the horrible questions. I think some of the press is starting to get guilty consciences about the irresponsible way the guy has been covered and not been covered. I don't know him personally, and none of this is personal with me. This is about America. This is about the country. He's my president, too, and I hoped very publicly that he would fail.
Why do you say the DNC is running an ad quoting you or saying that you hope he fails?
Yeah, well, he already has. This is a very two-pronged thing. He has failed. Can you tell me what he's doing is working? I know you don't want to sacrifice your journalistic objectivity.
Look, I'm hoping. I'm hoping.
Well, hoping to get it. Hope is an excuse for doing nothing.
I know, but I'm saying that, look, I thought that the better idea when we need to put money into the system was to get rid of some of the taxes on people's weekly incomes.
Yeah, well, that hasn't happened.
All right, but I thought that was a faster infusion of cash into the system, so people had more take-home pay. Now
they have less.
Well, the president and the Congress decided on a stimulus program instead. I didn't think that was fast. I didn't think that was immediate, but I certainly hope that it's successful.
It won't. It can't possibly succeed. It cannot possibly. This was my point earlier.
I will admit that it has so far not given any of the... It
can't possibly. They are now even predicting unemployment is going to go double-digit, 10%.
Well, it's worse in Michigan than 10%.
Well, I think it's worse in the country.
And it's worse in the inner city than 10%.
And
it's
who
much
runs
worse.
the inner cities and who had Democrats? In the blue states, in these blue cities, we're going straight down in the wrong direction. And this is not by accident. These people are not competent. Their ideas do not work. We don't need to turn this country into a banana republic.
And I will concede that 10% number does not include the people who have given up.
Exactly right.
So that number grossly underestimates.
Could be 15 or 20%.
And is deeply disturbing. However, be that as it may, is that, as I said, is that more than anything else, I want the stimulus program to work because I want those people employed. But I don't see the number. I don't see it there right now. It is not. Well, it's not convincing me at the moment.
This is interesting. See, I know it won't work. I don't have time for hope. I don't have time to sit around and hope. Hope is an excuse for doing nothing.
But I know, no, but it's already in effect. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They've already passed it.
But it's 2010's coming up, and most of the money hasn't been spent.
Only 10% has.
Right. So what the hell is it about anyway? Which
brings me back to I wish they had read it. That's why there's so many voted on it and didn't read it.
Greta, you're giving them way too much benefit of the doubt. This is on purpose. This was done to stimulate the Democrat Party. This was done to stimulate state governments. This was done to stimulate the power of Washington, D.C. It was a sold bill of goods, untrue, like cap and trade is, like health care reform is, like everything else they're doing. None of it is true. There was never any intention to create jobs. Where are the shovel-ready jobs? Where's all the work on the infrastructure? It ain't happening. Caterpillar's still laying people off. None of this, you can sit and hope all day. I don't mean you personally. You can sit and hope all day, and this is not the way you do it. He has already failed. Now, let me finish this thought. He's failed, but not the way I hoped. He has failed literally. He has failed the American people. He has done nothing for them that they thought was going to happen when they voted for him. They don't have jobs. They don't have rising incomes. They don't have the seas being lowered. He actually promised that. We don't have anything positive happening. Now, I wanted him to fail in implementing the stimulus because I knew this was going to happen. This is my point, Greta.
I think that's where, but that's where is that you're rooting for failure. I'm rooting for success, but I don't think we're going to get it because we don't have the numbers right now.
No. I am rooting for American triumph. I am rooting for American success. For that, Obama must fail. It's now 6 months later. Look, what Obama's doing is failing. It is a disaster for people, for individual Americans. It is a disaster. I did not want this to happen. I want everybody to succeed. I want everybody to be prosperous.
Me too.
This is not how you do it. Is this how the country was built? Is this how we came out of the '82 recession? What did we do then? We cut tax rates from 70% to 28% in the '80s. We cut capital gains. We got out of people's way. We turned the American people loose. Obama has contempt for the American people. He wants the government to be the central focus of America, not the people. And he's got a deep resentment for the rich and the people who've achieved. They need to be punished. We're going to take their money in taxes and the wealth destruction and redistribute it to others in the form of cap and trade and in the form of health care reform and whatever other issue he comes up with that's clouded in this mask of so-called compassion. So he has failed. And the sooner people admit this and realize it, then the sooner we can do something about it. So if only 10% of the stimulus has been spent, let's say the Republicans pull a rabbit out of their hats and win the House back in 2010, or take away the majority in the Senate, and that neither of the two are out of the realm of possibility, we can stop this. We can cancel the rest. Now, he might veto any bill that the Republicans would write that would cancel the rest of the spending on the stimulus and say turn it into a tax cut, which would be very indicative too. But look, elections have consequences. So we got what we voted for, or what the majority of the American people voted for.
What does it mean, big picture politically, if the health care does not pass, if he can't even get enough Democrats, because there are enough Democrats there if he got them all to pass it? What does it mean to him, big picture politically?
Well, I'd have to probably side with Jim DeMint that it was this is his centerpiece. This is what it's always all been about for the Democrat Party going back to the Clintons. If he doesn't get this time, he'll just come back and try for it next year or later in this term. They're going to keep fighting for this, Greta. This is why I think it's wrong for people on our side to start getting giddy about the polls showing most people opposing this and so forth. These people never give up. They never go away. They're not going to stop till they get this done. That's why they have to constantly be politically defeated.